Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Welcome to Hong Kong Confidential. I'm Jules Hannaford and I'm your host. I'm an Australian woman and I've been living in Hong Kong for many years. I'm a mother, a teacher, an author, and I want to share my wisdom and the wisdom of others with you. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the show.
You meet someone online and there's this instant connection. It's amazing how much the two of you just seem to click. They live somewhere far away and there's some plausible reason they can't travel to meet you. They tell you they're in love with you and you feel optimistic for the first time in a long time. They have a successful career, yet somehow they need money from you to solve a short-term problem, always with the promise of paying you back. Time goes on and they need more money more urgently. You've started to see the cracks and begin to wonder whether they've been lying this whole time. All of a sudden it hits you. You've been scammed. Fool Me Twice is the story of my mother, Jules Hannaford, a woman who was drawn into the dangerous world of sweetheart scams. After a trip overseas to meet a stranger, a dangerous altercation in a Manchester hotel room, and thousands of pounds lost for good, she's here to tell her story. Fool Me Twice, a true crime podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Ozcast Network, and anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Today I'm here with Andrew Wong Kee. Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Jules. It's a lovely day to sit here and have an interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. And I have to say, I was super impressed with your website. I really loved it when I was having a look at it. Just about emailed you to sign up. It's so impressive. So anyway,
good, great.
Andrew, tell me, what led you to become a coach and starting AWK Performance Coaching?
So I've kind of been coaching the physical realm of health and wellness. Now I'm kind of progressing into more the mental and the spiritual element of coaching. And it was just a natural progression, me working with the body for so long. There was more to it. As you really understand the body, you really understand that it's just not the body that affects the body or anything physical that just affects the body. It's mental, and it's also that spiritual realm that can also affect the body. So that's how I progressed into it.
So it's like the mind, body, spirit connection.
Yes.
How did you move from just working on the body? How did you realize that you needed to make this progression into the mental and the spiritual side of it?
With the start of COVID, it really gave me that kind of kick up the butt to kind of get things flowing. I've been practicing Chinese energetics on myself and family and friends probably for the last 8 years now. And I've been a physical coach for the last 20 years. So with COVID hitting, that basically completely stumped all of my physical face-to-face clients. And so I had to kind of diversify and adapt to the situation. And with Chinese energetics, you can just be sitting in front of someone via the phone and still have the ability to make energetic shifts, instantly kind of help them resolve things.
Tell me a bit more about what Chinese energetics are and how it works.
Sure. So the basis of it has come from principles of the Tao. This specific method using energy and reading energy actually came from Shaolin Kung Fu and the monasteries. There was a grandmaster, 35th generation grandmaster, who came to the US probably about 50 years ago, and he unleashed the secrets of the Shaolin. And he created an amazing system or method that basically helped the West really get to understand a bigger perspective on life and what is life and the physical realm and the mental. And when it all comes down to it, everything is energy. Everything operates on a certain vibration. And so what he was able to do was introduce this method to the West, where we started to, what should we say, generate or create a sixth sense awareness. And once we can connect to this deeper awareness, we're able to read energy. Energy has a language. And once you can start to understand that language, it's very easy to kind of create your own system of wellness and healing and just getting over your everyday issues that you may have.
It sounds a little bit to me like it's a little bit like a mix of reading your auras and balancing your chakras and things like that. Am I somewhere in the right path there?
Yes. So basically with this method, with the Shaolin Kung Fu, they use this thing called a midline, which is basically your spinal cord. And this midline is where we hold our energy. And different modalities, they work off this midline, whether you're talking about chakras and things like that. So what you tend to do with this method is you apply your attention to your midline. And once you're able to apply your attention to the midline, you will start to feel energy or the response or the language of energy. And with energy, it's a binary language. It's just like a computer. So it's basically strong or weak. And that's basically it's giving you.
I understand. Would you then use somebody's mind to channel into their midline and then use their mind to shift their energy? Or is it related more to nutrition and sleep and movement?
It's more with the mind. Basically, the first thing you want to do, or the key to this whole method is being neutral, is never to be overexcited or underexcited. It's always being neutral. Just like the principles of yin and yang, you always want to be in the middle and does have that understanding that there is that yin and you have a yang to everything that you think, say, and do. So from an energetic perspective, you want to be balanced and neutral to everything. And the key to this is to actually to try and get people's mind outside of them and let them start to use their physical intelligence to connect. So you're really perceiving and feeling energy, not trying to think. As Bruce Lee would always say, you should feel, don't think. And this is basically what he was suggesting, is using that internal awareness to feel the energy, find where or what are the things that make you weak, and then give you a really simple ability to strengthen that energy from a strong and instantly to a weak. And then instantly you have a change of perception, you have a complete change of awareness of the situation or the problem that you're facing.
Oh, that's so interesting. And is it like a form of meditation?
Not really. The first thing, it's really simple. It's a real basic understanding. And what they try and what you want to try and understand is we humans are basically a supercomputer. And just like a computer, it has a really basic binary language, just like energy. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our computer system is operating optimally all the time. And just like a normal computer, if you constantly going from website to website, they're going to attach cookies, viruses, and you're going to have these windows operating in the background. So what this energetics is, it's just like taking your own computer system in and clearing it out, defragging it, taking out all the spyware, deleting all the softwares that are running in the background. And once you can clear that, your whole computer system just operates a lot faster. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people feel overwhelmed, is because they're in this overthinking, very emotional, stressful state. And so it's really hard for them to create that clarity or that peace in their mind so they can really start to connect to their insight and to these amazing ideas or their creativeness. This method gives us the tools and awareness to kind of get us into this state of mind or state pretty much within 30 seconds.
That's awesome. Thank you for that analogy. That makes sense. That was a really great way of putting it, so I can grasp the concept really well.
Mm-hmm.
So You have a background in martial arts. Is this where you developed this interest in Chinese energetics through martial arts?
You could say that. I started martial arts when I was 6. My father was a boxer, and there was 5 of us kids, and 4 of us, my older brother, my older sister, so there's 4 of us. My older sister didn't compete, but from the age of 6, we went straight into martial arts karate, which is Japanese style kyokushin. I did that for 10 years and did amazing. And then I went into boxing, and then I went into all these different. So I think that whole experience with martial arts and energy was the breeding ground of knowing that there was something out there that was powerful and interesting. And just like, I suppose, like any other little boy, we wish we had superpowers, right? So that kind of gave me that search of, I want these superpowers to, levitate people. And so I
Oh,
think
that's
this is the
great.
closest thing.
That's awesome. What sort of people might come to you? Might it be sporty people who want to enhance their performance, or people who are stressed and want to de-stress, or what sort of people do you work with?
Pretty much all walks of life. What I find the entry point into Chinese energetics is that people that have chronic pain that's been with them for a long time, and they've been to all the doctors, they've been to different physios and things like that, but nothing's really resolved it. It may disappear for a little and then come back, or dampen the symptoms. Most people, they're searching for that relief. It was only like last week, I had a lovely lady come and see me. She had a numb thumb. She had numbness in her thumb, and she's had it for over a year. And it was just, sometimes it would just feel like it was completely dead. And then some days it's a little bit, but it was just nothing. She couldn't feel anything. And within one session, I was able to resolve that numbness to a tiny point on top of her thumb. And then the next session we had, it completely resolved everything.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I have bad knees. Do you think you'd be able to fix my knees? I've had cortisone injections, stem cell injections, PRP injections.
Sure. Well, we can try if you're open to it.
Yeah, I might have to book in with you.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for a cure. Andrew, how important is breathing in all of this kind of pain management and Chinese energetics?
Yeah, I mean, it's important. I think it's important to help people connect to the realm of spirituality and the mental side of things. Because a lot of people nowadays are just stuck in the physical realm of things. Everything has to be physical. I've got a sore shoulder, and I woke up with a sore shoulder, and it must have been something I did yesterday, or workout, or these pains that just come and go. And they're trying to associate this pain or this discomfort through something physical. So it's really giving this a deeper perspective on everything as a whole. But yeah, the breath is the gateway, is the connector between the physical and the non-physical realm of things. And once you can understand the breath, you can apply different tempos of breathing, and then that can instantly change your consciousness. It can change your mood. It can change you from a sympathetic nervous system to a parasympathetic nervous system. So I use the breath as kind of like the fundamentals of teaching people better awareness and how they can start to control their emotions, their mind, just by giving them different breathing techniques. And also purely for wellness and using the breath to oxygenate the body better. A lot of people out there are breathing. For one thing, the mechanics of their breathing is completely reversed.
It's too shallow?
Too shallow, the chest breathing. So instantly from there, they're stimulating the stress response. And so they're chronically in this chronic level of stress, but they don't know it. This is the normality for them, right? So they just keep going till it just gets overwhelming, or then pain starts to occur, illness starts to come on into their life. And they're like, oh my gosh. And it just becomes just overwhelming. So starting with the breath, teaching them how to breathe, and then giving them different breathing techniques to help them sleep better. Sleep is very critical in terms of wellness, regeneration, rejuvenation, and detoxification. So if you're just breathing incorrect during the daytime and you're stimulating a stress response, it's just a natural you're going to mirror the similar effects or the similar way that you're breathing at nighttime. And then you're not getting those deep levels of sleep where you regenerate, you create that release of hormones, and you feel amazing when you get up. Nobody that I've really treated in these few years have sleep has just gone out the door, and they just don't know what good sleep is. So it's really assessing how they sleep, the body position of they sleep, how they breathe when they sleep, and then just instantly giving them ways to instantly change that. And then it's literally overnight. People are texting me like, I have never had this best sleep in my life.
This is purely a selfish question. I am a terrible sleeper. I have insomnia. I can't sleep. I've been awake since 4 o'clock this morning. What tips would you have for me to improve my sleep?
Okay. So the first thing I will assess you is how you're breathing, is making sure that you start to belly breathe. That from a shallow perspective can instantly change you from that sympathetic to the parasympathetic. This will then start to reactivate your digestion, your rejuvenation, and your lymphatic system. So that will instantly calm you down. So then what it will start to do is to oxygenate your body and calm the mind down. And I will do this through increasing your CO2 levels. So I will give you a breathing technique like this one. This one is a real simple one, a 4-second box breath. They use this in the army to instantly give the soldiers that instant relief in a highly stressed environment so they can make those best choices. Okay. So once you've corrected your breathing biomechanics, so you're always breathing through the nose, nothing through the mouth. Okay. And this is where people get wrong. They breathe in their nose and they may breathe out their mouth, or they may be mouth breathing, which is a complete no-no. Okay. So once you've started to nasal breathe, you would apply the 4-second box breath. The 4-second box breath is a 4 seconds in, 1, 2, 3, 4. You pause for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. You breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you pause again for 4 seconds. So you're slowing your breath down for like 20 seconds for one breath. And once that does, this will increase your CO2 levels, which CO2 is really important because this is the prime gas that makes you relax. And what it does, it detaches the oxygen out of the hemoglobin and starts to shift it into the tissues and into your organs. And this is when you start to create more ATP and more energy, but it's also that calming effect. So I will tell you to do 4 or 10 rounds of the 4-second box, and then I will get you into a what we call a light and gentle breathing pattern, where you're just slowing that breath down. You're breathing in slowly, you're breathing out, and once you breathe out, you pause. You pause, and slowly you feel the air hunger build, automatic response needing to breathe. Once the air hunger raises slightly, you want to breathe in gently and lightly. So the air hunger, you don't want to hold it too long because if you hold it too long, it will want you to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's too much. The key is to always keep that breath light and gentle. Okay. So every breath out, you pause, pull the air hunger up slightly, and then slowly bring it in, and then nice and light, and then slowly let it out, and then you pause again. And then you just go do that for 10 minutes or until you
Okay.
fall asleep.
Okay. I'm going to try that tonight. Thank you so much. That's really cool. Send me your bill. Thank you.
No problem.
That's awesome.
So just by hearing you speak, I can tell there's a bit of a nasal issue that you're kind of presenting me. Do you feel that you mouth breathe at nighttime?
I probably do. I had a deviated septum and I had an operation maybe 15 years ago. So that's
Okay.
made a big difference in my ability to breathe. But I think I might breathe with my mouth open at night. I don't know why. But yeah,
Okay.
interesting.
So here's the big kicker. You got to put tape on your mouth this way.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So get the white medical tape, the paper tape.
Yes, I have it.
Okay. Put it this way. And
Okay.
then do 10 rounds of the 4-second box breath. Then go into the light and gentle breath. Then go to sleep and you will send me the money. You're going to send me money.
I tell you what, if it works, I will send you money because I have been struggling with sleep for 10 years during perimenopause and menopause. It's been just a
Okay.
disaster. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give that a try. So, thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No problem. So I also use energy to clear any nasal issues that people have, again, and knee pain. So knee pain is good because most people, they feel the pain, and if you can take it away without touching them, that's a big kicker as well. I love my job because I get to create these wow moments in people's lives where they're like, wow, that's amazing. And just that kind of like, oh, that's great. I'm really helping people resolve issues. And then a lot of the time, it's about changing their whole perspective on life and how everything connects. Because I think a lot of people are just lost. They have so many questions that they can't answer. And once that happens, it gets very stressful when you've got too many questions and no answers.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can really feel your energy even through the computer. You've got
Mm-hmm.
such a lovely energy. Like, I really do believe everything that you're telling me, that you can really create these wow moments and that you can change people's lives. I
Oh,
get
thank
that
you.
real sense from you. And I hope my listeners can pick up on that just from hearing you talk. It's very cool. I saw on your website that you're a posturologist. What is that?
Yes. So posturologist is basically, it's really assessing and recalibrating people's posture instantly. So if you look at the body as purely as a supercomputer, everything can happen like that if you change the way you look at things and you use the right tools. So I've been certified in a posture method. It's called Posture Pro. And what they do, they use 3 sensory systems of the body. So these 3 main sensory systems of the body that our posture aligns off. And one of them is the feet. On how we stand on the earth will dictate how our hips are positioned. The eyes, how we perceive that visual surrounding, and also the jaw. So once we can basically calculate what your posture is, and then basically figure out where the root cause of this dysfunctional posture patterns are coming from, we tap into the nervous system, into the part of the brain, and then we just apply what we call a resonator. Because what they've discovered is that your postural muscles and like everything in the body communicate off a frequency. So what we do is we use magnets that trigger the right frequency of the postural muscles, and they will instantly activate and stimulate the brain, and then instantly have a shift in shoulder position, shoulder height, shoulder rotation, hip rotation, foot positioning, movement instantly. And when you look at posture, a lot of the time it is a dysfunctional standing or movement patterns formed by dysfunctional posture causes pain and stress. And they would also release excess stress hormones. Because if your body, say, for example, is not standing upright, you have a forward head position, that means a lot of your weight is forward. So then what happens is your toes are clawing into the floor. So when that happens, you're just using excess energy just to stand upright. So then you will find that after lunch, you're just completely exhausted. It's just, I just got to sit down. I just need a rest. And so a lot of these correlations with eye dysfunctions, jaw dysfunctions, and feet dysfunctions you can instantly make shifts. So there's certain things. For example, I do a lot of kids with postural issues. And one of the key ones I do is an eye test. And I test whether their eyes are able to control and converge together. A lot of them, they'll find that one eye will start to converge laterally on its own accord. So this will create stress in the eye and the head. It's taking two different information. And so you get an overloaded stimulation. And then what it does, because the optical muscles of the eyes cross over and connect to the bottom of your skull behind your back, it's going to create cervical rotation dysfunction. And so what I do is I give them eye exercises to instantly calm them down, and then they hear that cervical rotation is instantly nice and easy.
That's so spooky that you said that, because I've got a turned eye. My left eye is turned, and I had an operation when I was 2 or 3 years old to cut the muscle behind the eye to try to correct it, but it's kind of turned. And interestingly, I've had neck pain for like 4 months. I definitely need to come and see you. I'm a wreck, Andrew. I'm a wreck.
Yeah, so you're the ideal client.
Yeah, I am. I definitely am.
There's these pains that just come up, and I just can't get my life I need to work out. I need to get back into shape. I need to start eating correct. All these I need to, but you just don't have that ability just to turn that switch on and then just do it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
That's basically what it is that you just got to, with energetics, I'm just finding these switches that are turned off and just turning them back on. And then instantly you're reprogrammed.
Yeah, so interesting. I'm loving this. Tell me about toxic load. I read on your website that you can release or disperse toxic load. How do you do that?
So from a physical level, one of the things is getting people to breathe correct. So once you're in this dysfunctional breathing pattern, which is basically a hyperventilation, upper chest breathing, this will stimulate your stress response, your fight or flight. When this occurs, your body goes into a survival mode. It's perceiving a lion or something to jump out at you. So all your operating systems turn off, like digestion, lymphatic system. Lymphatics is the number one. This helps flush toxins out of the body, around the body. But this is one of the first systems that turn off when you're breathing incorrect. So is digestion. So then just changing the way they breathe. And what I also use is pressure points in the body. These are neurolymphatic pressure points in the body, which will instantly activate lymphatics and send that fluid around. So I get them breathing correct. I activate the lymphatics through these pressure points, and then instantly there's movement. And then you can start to, okay, so let's start drinking a little bit more. Let's go through a detox. So one of the detoxes, whether it's a female who has high estrogen toxicity, I will make sure that their liver is optimal. I get them on a clean diet. I get them on an all veggie diet. And then I'll give them some form of medical shake to help repair the gut, clean the liver. And so I will put them on for a week of that. Even just from that, they'll lose weight. Things will start to fall off. And it's important that you get the initial results, because if you don't start to lose weight, you don't feel better, you won't resonate with it. You're like, oh, no, I don't want to do it anymore. So these are the physical ways that I get people to detoxify. And also it's really getting them to breathe correct when they work out, because one of the big toxic loads is people working out too crazy and they're building all this lactic acid, for example, and they're not really having the ability to flush it out, right? And just also with the breathing, your stress hormones will be dampened. And so the whole toxic load inside the body just reduces. And then from there, we cleanse it out and we just activate the lymphatics and all the elimination portals and exit portals of the body.
Could that lead to weight loss and good sleep and more energy and all of that?
All of that.
Oh my God, we've got to book in for 6 sessions.
What I introduced, I kind of look at things from a 3 dimension. For us as human beings, we have the mind, body, and the spirit, and they all are connected and they all affect each other. But a lot of us are just stuck on that physical realm. And deep down, we all know that whatever's in our mind is in our body, and whatever's in our body is in our mind. So you can just look at someone walk into the room and you can tell whether they're happy or sad just by their posture, right? And it's the same. You can change your body. For example, I'm going to get you to do this. Take 3 deep breaths in the nose, okay? And then feel how much air volume and air, how easy it is to breathe, okay? Just by doing 3 normal breaths in your nose. So as deep as you want, just get a gauge on the quality of the flow and how much it feels, okay? Do that for me. Good, okay? So now what we do is we can change the body, which will affect our breathing. So I want you to put a smile on your face like this, okay? And then take the 3 breaths in.
Okay.
You feel the difference there?
Feels like I was taking in more air when I was smiling.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Wow,
Everything just opens
that's weird.
up, right?
Mm.
So these simple things, you can really alter your state of consciousness. I think the big thing nowadays is like hacking, like body hacking. This seems to be the big thing at the moment, giving people these different techniques to instantly hack the body. And I think it's great. And there's a lot of stuff out there. I see a lot of the people that really want the quick fix. This is what they're into, biohacking. Okay, let's do some breathing. Things like the Wim Hof method. It's kind of like a reset. It's biohacking your consciousness and your physical. Just doing 30 deep breaths, biohacking, jumping into ice cold water. This will reset you, changing your nutrition. All these things are all forms of biohacking. So I just find that Chinese energetics is just like the ultimate biohacking modality.
Do you find that you have a lot of success with your clients? Like, are most people happy with the work that you do with them and they feel a change? They feel like rejuvenated, regenerated, and empowered? I got that from your website.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is once you can really make these shifts, your business will grow, your reputation, people will just come. And I've only been in Sai Kung for 6 months now. I've been in Central for a long time, and coming out here, there's more open-minded people here. They're more in touch with themselves and with nature. Where in Central, everyone is all about go, go,
Busy.
go. When it comes to work, yeah, it's party hard, it's work hard, it's train hard. And it's like, guys, you just got to start breathing. Let's slow it down a little bit. And it just didn't quite connect because a lot of my clients I've been training, I just want to sweat. I just want to smash it. I just want to hurt. I'm like, yeah, it's not really kind of back in the day when I first kind of was in the industry, that was the whole, let's go, let's go, let's go. But as you evolve as a coach and as a human, you got to know that there's more to it than just smash and bash. So yeah, being out in Sai Kung has been amazing. It's a whole new awareness out here, and it's been great.
Oh, that's very cool. Do you think that you can help improve a person's concentration and their mental abilities with the work that you're doing?
Easy. This stuff is easy. The ability to send your mind and your spirit out of your body. So you're purely in a state of mindlessness, emptiness, and spiritless. So you're just completely connected to where you are. You're not in the state of overthinking, reacting, or emotional. This stuff just slows you down and it makes you stressed out. So giving them just the tools, the know-how to get into this meditative state within 30 seconds. This is how fast and simple and powerful Chinese energetics is that you can get into the state. Meditation, you have to sit there for 20 minutes at least to come out and feel like, oh yeah, I feel calm and relaxed. Chinese energetics, it's like bam, 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 done, finish, you're there.
That's part of what the empowerment, isn't it? That ability to you align yourself and you use the energetics to make these changes and everything just starts to work better, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Just life starts to fall into place. I teach Chinese energetics to everyone and get them in a state of neutralness first, but then start to teach them the principles of energy and being neutral to everything you say, see, and do. because it's the things that weaken you is what accumulates. And then this creates a shift of energy and you get stress. So it's about constantly checking in and being neutral every day. And then once I kind of look at it, a mentor of mine told me this one is like, we have this internal pond inside of us. And when we're stressed, emotional, this pond of water is like this. It's like a really up and down.
Choppy, yeah.
And then, yeah, choppy. But when we're calm and peaceful, internal pond is nice and flat. And so when we're in this state, it's a lot easier for us to perceive the droplets of water that falls into a pond. So then we can really go, okay, so there's something here that's bothering me, right? So you can instantly pick it up and then you can instantly resolve it. So it doesn't accumulate. And then by the time it really starts to affect you, the accumulation is so big is that you start to focus on the recent events, the recent things that you think is the root cause. And so then what happens? You never really get it resolved. It comes back the next day or it doesn't really resolve. And then everything just slowly just builds on that. And then before you know it, you're in pain, you're stressed, you can't sleep, you're unhealthy. You're just in a state of like, oh, I feel hopeless.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Is positive self-talk something that you look at as well in all this process?
Yep, that's one of the techniques is to reprogram our mind. And one of the techniques I do is the auto-suggestion. So there was a French psychiatrist, Emile Coué. He's like the godfather of hypnosis or self-reprogramming. And this is one of the things I would get my clients to do is to create a string of 21 knots. And then before you go to bed and as soon as you wake up, you run your finger over the string of knots, and every knot you will repeat a mantra and his mantra, and you can change the mantra. I will change mine for me. His one will be every day in every way, I will get better and better. Every day in every way, I will get better and better. And this is a reprogrammer, auto suggestion, working on the subconscious. And so just doing that, it makes an amazing shift. Everything just like, okay, you get motivated for something. There's a switch that just turns on in there. So this is just one of the self-talk mantras that I present to my clients.
Yeah, I used to have a mantra when I was going through domestic violent relationships in my 20s. I used to say, warrior am I, and from the battle I'll emerge triumphant. And I used to say it over and over, and it did help me get stronger and to walk away and to be independent. So, yeah, I do believe in mantras. I think they can really work.
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing is we're just creating a software program. We're reprogramming it. And that program is going to keep running in the background, right? That's basically what you're doing is you're reprogramming, whether you're using hypnosis or mantras and that constant repetition, they say for 21 days, for example, do that every day. And then there's going to be a shift. So yeah, mantras are important.
How important is nutrition for leading a healthier lifestyle?
It's one of the areas of creating a healthier physical body. But there are a lot of also other important things. But yeah, nutrition is important to lose weight and feel light and healthy, have more energy. Yeah, it helps. But I find that is only a small portion. The mind, you can get that from just recalibrating the mind. You can get weight loss just by changing the way you see weight loss, right? Some people want weight loss, but they don't want to give things away. They have a weakness to giving things away. They don't want to give their fat away. They want to hold on to it.
Interesting.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it's really finding those triggers on what causes them not to eat well or make that choice. It's really creating those shifts, getting those switches and just turning them on and off.
How do you help people make these behavioral changes and stick to them? Like I can come to you and recognize all the different things that I need to do, but how can I stick with it? That's the problem for a lot of people. We can walk out of your office going, yes, I'm going to do it. And we've got a plan and this is what I'm going to do, but then to follow through is very hard.
It's all about being neutral to the idea. With energetics, stuff just, it stays. My other client just the other day, he's a massive skeptic. He's a professor, very well educated. So when I'm talking about energy and the holistic approach, he was always like questionable. He was like, but what about, he questions everything and really goes through it. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. I just give him the philosophies and give him the ways. And the big shift was within the session, we're sitting and he has a nasal breathing issue. And sometimes his nasal, he could not breathe. So this morning, he could not breathe through his nose, completely blocked. And within 15 minutes, I did some energy, completely resolved that, gone.
Wow.
And he's breathing and he goes, unbelievable. And then that was the opening of the door. Now he's interested. He goes, oh, I want to learn this more. And so now I'm teaching him the key fundamentals of energy.
That's what you were saying earlier, that if you get some sort of success very quickly with somebody, whatever it is, then they're really open to learning more and making more of the changes, and it changes or it aligns their mindset and their body kind of thing and their spirit.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Hey, I've got this quote that I loved from your website. I'm going to read it to you, and then if you can explain it to me in a bit more detail. It said, through your understanding and appreciation of this ancient philosophy, you can take control of your life and you'll be able to connect the dots for why and how certain things in life manifest and occur. So explain to me what that means about understanding what manifests and occurs in your life and how you get control of it.
So one of the real simple questions, so when we're going through, say, for example, we have an argument or something happens and you feel off. One of the simple questions is this coming from me or is it coming from outside of me? Because a lot of people tend to go, oh, I feel like this. It's all my fault. It's me. It's me. When they start to kind of look at the physical and mental and the spiritual and how it's all connected, that it may not be coming from them. It could be coming from a collective. It could be coming from an ancestor or past life experience. It could be a karma that needs to be resolved. It could be a curse. It could be a multiple personalities, a spirit attachment. So it really, with this energy, it really gets you to identify where this weakening energy is coming from. And then once you can really bring, shall we say, the truth to your problem, where it's coming from and what it is exactly, then you just strengthen it and then it completely resolves, completely have a change of whether it's pain, pain disappears. A stress, it doesn't affect you anymore. So when you have the skill set, you start to really take control of the things in your life. And then once you can have this blueprint, it empowers you that you can really just, nothing will affect you. If it does, then you can resolve it. You can find the true root cause of it. And it completely, that your instant change is unbelievable.
Would you say that's the key to living a happy life?
Yes. The key to living a happy life is resolving, basically, from Chinese energetics, it's resolving our karmas and resolving our past traumas, our spiritual experiences. Because karmas get passed down through generations or from other lifetimes. And these karmas tend to be where it could be you owe someone in a past life, so they're getting back at you. Trauma, for example, I rolled my ankle. So kind of look at where is this coming from? It could be from a spiritual experience of someone crushing my ankle from another lifetime. So once you kind of keep resolving things that may be coming up, negative things like that don't affect you anymore. Your life just seems to run smooth. And the things that you want will start to manifest. The stress, the pain, the incidents. It's like when you're in this state of imbalance, there's stuff that always happens to you. Like, oh man, it happened again. It's like this. These cycles of your life just keep rotating. And if you don't learn from these mistakes, if you don't resolve these cycles, they're going to keep happening. and happening, but on a bigger scale. And then when you pass, someone has to repay that. And it'll be passed down to your next generation. And with this Chinese energetics, once you can kind of really resolve these karmas and these traumas in your life, your behavior change, your energy changes. The bad things stop happening to you. And it's just like amazing. You start to live in the present. Then from there, it's all about aligning yourself to your true self. And your true self is where you find joy, happiness, and you have the energy to be creative. And that is your true self, right? The whole point is live your life to your true self and just to resolve anything that could be coming back to get you, basically, these karmas and these traumas. And then, yeah, life was good.
It does. That sounds amazing. Thank you, Andrew, for explaining all of that. Andrew, how can my listeners find you if they'd like to learn more about Chinese energetics or do some work with you in any way?
So I have a website, AWK Performance Coaching.com, and I have a Instagram, Andrew AWK Performance Coach. I haven't got anything on Facebook. I've just opened or just about to open once the restrictions open. I'm just about to open a wellness and performance clinic in Sai Kung.
Oh, brilliant.
So I'll be here pretty much most days, but online, I'm contactable. So yes.
Great. Well, I'll put your details in the show notes for anybody who'd like to contact you. Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with me. And I feel much lighter and happier than I did before we started this podcast. So it's been really lovely.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And for my listeners out there, if this is something that you've enjoyed or you know somebody who might benefit from Andrew's wisdom, please share this podcast with them. And if you could go to iTunes to rate and review us, then that'll help get Hong Kong Confidential up the iTunes charts. And it will help more people find Andrew at AWK Performance. So thanks again, Andrew. It's been amazing. And I think I'll be coming to see you. See you later.
Jules.
Okay,
Take
bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Hi, Confidants. I want to tell you about my Patreon page. I've joined Patreon in the hope of getting sponsorship for my Hong Kong Confidential podcast. Patreon is a great way for my listeners to get on board and sponsor me with monthly payments, and that goes towards my production costs and rewards for my members. If you're interested in checking out my Patreon page, please go to patreon.com and search up Jules Hannaford or Hong Kong Confidential. I would really appreciate you visiting my page. So that brings us to the end of another Hong Kong Confidential podcast. I'm Jules Hannaford. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you'll be with me again next week. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please can you go to iTunes to rate and review it. I would really appreciate your feedback. You can email me at jules@hongkongconfidential.net, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Hong Kong Confidential. If you'd like to hit me up on Twitter, it's at Jules Hannaford. I would love to hear from you.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AWK Network.com for details.